Hi, I'm Andy. In this series of videos, I'm building a cedar strip canoe. In the last video, you saw me take a large piece of cedar and rip it down into planks about 1 inch thick. I bought a moisture meter and I took some readings on those cedar planks, and in places it's up to about 37%. So those are in the house on the landing, drying a little bit in a slightly warmer, drier atmosphere than the garage. And I'm going to get on with some other jobs until they're ready for the next step of ripping them down into the thin strips. The next step then is to build the Strongback, which is the low, solid table that you use to hold the mould stations and build the canoe on, upside down. That's built out of sheets of plywood, so I've already started ripping down 1 3/4 inch sheet of plywood into the lengths that I need, and I'll show you now some of the measurements that I need to do. I want the end of the stem mould to exactly coincide with the end of the Strongback. I don't want any overhang either of the Strongback coming too far out or the stem mould being beyond the end of the Strongback. The stem mould has a notch cut out at the bottom of it here, and I want the Strongback to end at that point. So station 6 is this line here, and station 7 is this line here. There's no mould at station 7, but that would be 7 feet exactly from the centre of the canoe, the midpoint in the canoe. So what I want to do is measure back from that 7-foot line to this point, and then make sure the top of the Strongback is the right length to end here. I'm working in inches here because the entire plan and everything else is in inches, so it makes sense to stay in that unit. So that is 1 1/4 inches back from the 7-foot station. That means that the top of my Strongback needs to be exactly 2 times 7 feet minus 2 times 1 1/4 inches. And I'm making it in 2 pieces, so in fact it's going to end up at 6 foot 10 3/4 inches per piece. got the three main sections of the top of the Strongback made now. The shorter section goes in the middle between the other two to support the length, so that you can build a full-length Strongback out of an 8-foot length piece of plywood. So I'm pretty happy that went together quite easily. I've used OSB for the gables in the smaller section simply because I had a lot kicking around and it's cheaper, and it seemed a shame to cut into fairly large pieces of plywood to get the small squares out. The job now is to assemble these three components and then make them as straight and level as possible before adding the legs and the feet. Turned it the right way up, and there's a very slight waviness in the beam, especially at the far end, but it's incredibly level. The garage floor here is smoothed concrete and floated concrete, and it's very, very smooth and very flat. All I have to do now is fasten the top, and I'll try and correct the waviness as I fasten the top down, because obviously the top gives it a lot of rigidity in that direction, and then put the filler blocks in on the feet, which you use for leveling, which is, in my case, not necessary. That is my Strongback finished. It's taken 2 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood. I followed the instructions in the book and also the pamphlet that came with the plans almost exactly. I shortened the top of the Strongback very slightly, as I said, to fit my plans. That's the end of this video. If you like it and if you want to see the rest of my build, please don't hesitate to click subscribe wherever that button appears on the screen. Leave any comments, any advice. If you've been here and done this before, please let me know what I'm doing wrong. I'd honestly appreciate it. In the next episode, I'll be putting up the mould stations, which is the plywood sections on this Strongback that allow you to form the boat. See you then. Bye bye.